Okay, welcome to the 5th class in a series on honoring your parents. I will start with an introduction that you can use in all your interactions with people, whether it is your parents, your children, your siblings, co-workers. We're speaking about honoring your parents, but we have to speak generally. What is honoring a person? Why is honor important for people? Our Chachamim say that if you see a man eating on a marketplace, on a street, walking and eating, such a man is like a dog. Like dogs do, they eat, they go to the bathroom without shame, and such a man, according to some, is not kosher as a witness. Imagine you have a Jew who keeps Shabbat, keeps kosher, puts on tefillin, is honest in business, everything's perfect, but he eats on the street. He cannot be a kosher witness. Why not? And the Gemara says because he doesn't have self-respect. And if he doesn't have self-respect, he will not worry if people look down upon him. He doesn't care if he lies and he is found as a liar, because he doesn't have self-respect anyway. He has nothing to lose. And a witness is supposed to be somebody who cares for his kavod, for his self-respect, for his honor in the eyes of people. And he doesn't want to be caught lying. And a person who eats on the street doesn't have self-respect. Now, as an aside, this teaches us that when we eat, we should also behave with dignity, not jump on food as animals do, but calmly, respectfully sit down, with saying a bracha, with washing hands, with kavanah, eating slowly. But for our topic, we see that having self-respect is essential to being a kosher Jew. A kosher Jew is a Jew that has self-respect, that cares about opinion of people about him. Because if we realize that people are looking at us, that people are judging us, we will behave better. So having self-respect helps us to do mitzvot, helps us to be a better human being. So this is a fundamental desire of every human being. Every person wants to be respected, wants to be liked by people. And it's very important to give it to them. People want to be respected. As it says, who is an honorable man? Someone who respects others. Someone who cares about others and gives them what they want the most. What do people want the most? They want attention, they want respect, they want honor. So the person who recognizes that a human being is a great being, the greatest creature on the whole earth, such a man is an important man. Such a man is a respectable man. Our Chachamim say that if you would put a scales, and on one side of the scales you would put the entire world, the entire universe with all its stars, planets, galaxies, and on the other side you would put one human being, whether he is a Jew or non-Jew, who will weigh more in its worth? All the houses in Queens and in Manhattan, who will be worth more? The one human being. One human being is worth more than the entire universe. And again, someone who recognizes this worth, every human being, a child, a non-Jew, a man, a woman, no matter what, as long as he is a living human being, he has a soul, he has a spark of God, part of God is in him, and therefore he is greater than the entire universe. Now, when you give respect to people, they like you, they are more agreeable, they are easier to talk to than if you don't give them respect. Try screaming at your husband and see if he's going to do what you wanted him to do. And on the other hand, try speaking politely to him, try respecting him, praise him, and see if that helps. So when we speak to our parents, we have to keep that in mind, that we have many discussions. They want you to do this, you want them to do that. If you treat them politely, with respect, it's going to be for your own benefit. You are going to be the greatest recipient of the blessing because they will love you that you respect them. And not only that, when you take away someone's honor, it's as if you're killing them, right? It says that somebody who embarrasses his friend in public, it's as if he killed him. Why? Because until now he had respect, and now you embarrassed him and you took away the respect from him. And it's equivalent in the eyes of each person. If I don't have respect, if it was revealed that I did something wrong, I would rather die. That's how most people think. So imagine you have somebody who thinks that he deserves respect, and you tell him that he doesn't deserve respect. Whether verbally or physically, you show him that I don't care about you, I don't value you, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not important in my life. It's as if you killed him. Now he doesn't want anything to do with you, he doesn't want to be alive, he becomes your enemy. On the other hand, if you change it and you tell him, maybe other people don't recognize your worth, but I know you are the greatest. You are worth more to me than the entire universe. Whether if you say it to your parents, or you say it to your husband, or your husband's going to say it to you, you are worth to me more than the entire universe, it's going to be true. And you're going to create a great friend and admirer. You can say it to anybody, and again, you're not lying, because every human being is worth more than the entire universe. One more point, if you take away respect from somebody, they have nothing to live for, and therefore you just took away what they try to preserve. Everybody wants to look good in the eyes of others, and if you tell them that they have no respect in your eyes, then they stop trying. But if you tell somebody, I trust you, you're a great person, I know you can do it, I know you're capable, they will try to fulfill your evaluation. That if you believe in them, they will try to make sure that they don't fail. Because since they see that they have respect in your eyes, they don't want to lose it. If a parent shows the child that they trust them, the child will behave in a way to show parents that yes, you are right. You trusted me, and I want to keep that trust. I want to keep that respect. So you have to give a person something to strive for, and that is, you show them that you respect them. And then they will love that respect that you give them, and they will not want to lose it. So throughout these classes, this is what you should keep in mind. When you interact with your parents, when you speak to your parents, give them greatest respect, honor. And then they will say, my child respects me so much, I cannot let them down. And then if they ask me for money, I have to give them because they hold me in such esteem. If they ask me for help, I have to give it to them. If they ask me not to bother them, leave them alone, I will do it because they respect me so much, and I don't want in any way to diminish that. I don't want to behave incorrectly, because then they will think badly of me, and I don't want to do that. So of course it's better to start with respect as soon as you meet your parents-in-law, to start treating them with respect, and then from day one they will try to keep that respect. But if unfortunately we messed up and we mistreated them, it's never too late to say, you know what, I recognize how good you are. You can even say, you know, I looked at my friends, what kind of parents-in-law they have, and I have such good parents-in-law, and praise them and remind them of all the good they did to you, and show them that you appreciate it. And then from then on, they will be extra careful when they're next to you. They will not say a bad word, they will not curse, they will not behave improperly themselves. This is a very, very powerful tool with your parents, with your parents-in-law, and with your spouse, and with your children. Give them trust, give them respect, and they will live up to your expectation. Yes?
So sometimes you go to an occasion and, let's say a kiddush, everyone's standing eating up. So does this apply, or specifically on the open market?
It's specifically on the open market, but from there we learn what the proper way is. So if it's possible, if chairs are available, you should sit. If chairs are not available, but a table is available, a tall table that you can at least stand next to, better to stand next to a table and eat as opposed to just walk around. If there is no table, at least stand in one place as opposed to walking around. But again, ideally, it teaches us that a person should eat in the private of his home. Even if you go to a restaurant, choose a private corner. Don't sit in front of a window that all the buses and cars pass by and look at how you eat. Sometimes even with my children, we drive and they look in restaurants and they say, oh, look, he's opening his mouth, look, he's biting. It's just not respectful that people should see how you're fulfilling one of your animalistic functions. So knowing what's the worst, and the worst is in a marketplace, while you're walking, eating, we learn what's the best. Okay. Just like we have to respect our parents, and we have a great mitzvah, we learn that parents themselves should teach children in this mitzvah. We should train them, educate them, guide them. But at the same time, parents should not make it too difficult for children to fulfill this mitzvah. Parents should not demand too much of children. You cannot say this to your parents, but you as a parent should try to not be too difficult on your children. Don't ask them too many things. If you need a favor, only if you cannot do it yourself, ask them. Don't make them feel like they're your slaves. Make it for them an honor that they can serve you. Show them that you're capable of doing everything yourself. And you're only asking them to give them opportunity to fulfill a mitzvah. Not because you are incapable, not because you're lazy, chas v'shalom, but rather you want them to fulfill a mitzvah. Especially as children grow, you don't want them to have bad feelings about parents. My parents are so demanding, they're nagging and so annoying. You're making, by doing this, you're making it so much harder when they grow up to love you, to respect you. It's permissible for a parent to forgive the children and tell them, I don't require you to do this from you. For example, a parent, it's not recommended, but a parent is allowed to tell his children, I don't require you to stand when I walk in. If you feel that it's going to be hard for your children and they might not do it, so excuse them. Instead of them doing a sin every time they disrespect you, tell them that I don't expect you to get up. I allow you to stay seated when I come in. And then they're doing it with your permission, and it's permissible. And similarly, with many other halachot that we learned, if you give them permission, they don't have to do it. That's only with honoring you. But disrespect, you're not allowed to let them do it. For example, you cannot tell your children you're allowed to call me by my first name. That would be disrespectful, and anything disrespectful, you cannot give them permission. Yes?
Can you ask your parents that I've learned there is a requirement to get up, and you can excuse me, what do you prefer?
Yes, that's a good idea. Yes, especially if they're not used to it,
Yeah, they don't know.
they would be uncomfortable also. And you're uncomfortable, they're uncomfortable. So if you tell them, we learned that we're supposed to get up when our parents come in. If you want me to, I will. But if you're not comfortable with it, just like I am, if it's okay,
But it's not like you're kind of telling them, like, hey, just excuse me.
as long as they give you permission with a full heart, that's okay. Yes. So if a child asks, can I sit in your chair? You can say, yes, you're allowed to sit in my chair. Or even before that, you can say, oh, here's your plate. Here, my chair is available. I'm not sitting. You can sit in my chair. So if you give them permission, they are allowed. Another halacha that changes from when the children are young to when they grow is giving them physical punishment. When the children are young and you educate them to show them that what they're doing is wrong, you're allowed to give them limited physical punishment. However, when they grow up, you have to stop. Because when they grow up and they already have their own strength, and if they don't handle their anger, their frustration, they might hit a parent back, and then they will transgress this prohibition of hitting parents. And you will cause them to transgress. So it's as if you're putting a stumbling block in front of your child by hitting a child who is already grown up. What's considered grown up? In the olden times, when children had more respect for people, grown up was considered 20 years old, 20, 22 years old. When he is already a grown-up man, a grown-up woman, that was already the cut-off point. From that on, you're not allowed to slap, hit, any physical punishment to your children. However, we live in times that even younger than 20, children already have so little respect for adults, for those that are older, that they will already rebel and will already answer back and hit back. And therefore, the age goes down. Some say as soon as the child is married, if a child is married 18, 17, already they're considered adult. Some say even from their bar or bat mitzvah, when the girl is 12 or boy is 13, you're not allowed to hit them. And some say even younger. Everything depends on your particular child. But if you see that your child has this character, this temper, and it's hard for him to control, and if you hit them, they will hit back, then from that point on, you're not allowed to hit them anymore. In general, you're not supposed to give any person a challenge that they cannot handle. So if you demand the kind of respect from your child that he cannot live up to, then you are setting him up for failure. You are putting a stumbling block in front of him. And therefore, if you know that it's going to be hard for your child, don't demand it. Don't ask them to help you if you know it's hard. And at the same time, don't expect them to do perfect job. You ask your daughter to cut up vegetables and it's not so perfect, you have to be forgiving. You have to maybe in your husband's ear say that it was not you who cut up the salad, but don't tell your daughter that her job is not good, because she is still young and it's not expected of her to be perfect. And the same if you ask them to wash dishes and you find a little dirt on them, don't demand perfection from them when they are too young. And therefore, the same idea with hitting them. If you hit them and it's a challenge that they cannot handle, they'll get so upset, so angry, they will hit you back. You're not allowed to give them such challenge. And even with words, if you know that your rebuke will not be heard, that they will be hurt, upset, then don't say it. Wait for more opportune time. Wait for when they are calm, when they're eating a chocolate bar, and then tell them what they did wrong. And by the way, it works very well with your spouse as well. Don't tell a person that he did something wrong at the time when it's a stressful situation, at the time when they're vulnerable, when they just did something wrong, when they themselves feel that maybe I shouldn't have said it or done it. And then you say to them, they are vulnerable and it will be hard for them to handle it. In fact, a commentator, Shach, on Shulchan Aruch, interprets a verse that says, Ish imo v'aviv tirau, which we translate as, every man, his mother and father, they shall fear. He translates it a little bit different. He says, why does it change? Why does the pasuk change from singular to plural? It says, a man, his father and mother, they shall fear. We started with a man, why they shall fear. In the beginning we interpret this that it means they refers to both men and women shall fear their parents, but Shach interprets it differently. He says, a man, if you know that your child is already an adult, a man, imo v'avi, father and mother, they shall fear him. Parents, he says, if they recognize that their child grew up already, parents should fear their children, that the children should not be put in a situation when they will rebel against their parents. And therefore, if you see that your child made up their mind and it's hard for them to change it, and you force them, it's as if you're forcing them to rebel. Especially if they are teenagers already, and it's hard for them, peer pressure. Even if you force them in front of you to do something that you require, as soon as they leave you, they're not going to do it. So you didn't achieve anything. It's only superficial obedience, but they're not listening to you. So it's better to be their friend, better to be on their side and guide them and say, yes, this is wrong, but I understand it's difficult for you. I understand your friends are doing it, but you should be strong. I understand if you make a mistake or if you decide to do it, I'm still with you. And then if they have a challenge, they will speak to you because they know you will listen. You will not judge them, you will not command them, you will not disown them, but you will still love them and support them. This way, we all go through challenges, and if there is a challenge that we fail in, we have somebody to turn to. It's not police, they're not going to put us in jail, but rather they will understand, they will support, they will help us to come out of our problem. In the long term, that works much better than parent becoming an enemy of a child and commanding, and if you don't do what I tell you, then is going to be a punishment and don't talk to me. Then they're not going to talk to you even when they want to talk to you and when they need to talk to you. So when children are young, the education is different than when they are older. When they are grown up, you have to treat them as adults and cannot treat them as children anymore. An important idea we mentioned already in honoring your parents is to feel gratitude. When we were children, we didn't really understand what our parents were doing for us. When it says when David HaMelech was born, he looked how his mother was nursing him, and he sang a song to Hashem, praising Hashem for giving him such mother that takes care of him and breastfeeds him. Our children are not yet so developed that when they are nursing babies, they can say thank you, they can understand the miracles that are going on to create milk and feed the baby. But when they grow up and they learn about it, they should say thank you to their parents. So one exercise is think from the moment you're born and until now, what did your parents do for you? Think from the beginning. Your mother carried you, she gave birth to you, she nursed you, whether it was bottle feeding or nursing. She changed your diapers, she washed you, she cuddled you, she put you to sleep, she brought you to the doctor, she gave you medicine, she didn't sleep at night. So many things they did for you, so much money they spent on you, so much worry they put into you. And not to forget, you can even write it down. Fill up pages and pages of all the different things they did every year of your life. And then you'll have a greater appreciation for your parents, and your gratitude towards them is going to be so much that you will realize that you can never pay back to your parents what they did for you. Because really, every moment that the mother takes care of a baby, she's saving his life. If she just leaves him for a moment, he's going to fall, chas v'shalom, break his head. If she's not going to feed him one time, he's going to die from starvation. Every day, every hour, our parents were saving our life. And now, can you say that about your parents? How often do you get a chance to save your parents' life? Even if they are so old that they require your intervention to stay alive, that's not every moment. It might be daily, it might be every few hours, but it's not to the point of what your mother did for you as a baby. And most of us don't even get that opportunity. Baruch Hashem, our parents are either healthy, or there are doctors, nurses, home health aid, or nursing home that do our job. So really, most of us will never be able to give our parents what they gave to us. And for that we have to be thankful, respectful, and honor them. And in no way to give them unnecessary worry, unnecessary pain. We spoke about the idea that the honoring parents extends beyond the life of the parent. Even when the parents pass away, you still have to continue respecting them. And we spoke about ways to do it. What happens if a person failed and did not respect his parents in their lifetime, and then they passed away? Is there teshuvah? Can you fix it? If they're still alive, you can go ask them forgiveness. What if they are not alive anymore? So there is one option: to get 10 people, go to their grave and ask them forgiveness in front of the 10 people. And then, for the rest of your life, you have to accept upon yourself kapara. What's kapara? In addition to doing teshuvah, which is regretting what you have done and saying, if I had opportunity to have my parents again, I would respect them and I would never disrespect them again. You take upon yourself that any suffering that I go through, may it be atonement for my disrespecting my parents. Whether it is disease, whether it is loss of money, whether it is accident, you should view everything as Baruch Hashem, Hashem gave me kapara, atonement. You can say it verbally. And keep in mind that all the mitzvot that I will do should go to the merit of my parents. To atone for how much pain I gave them, to repay them in some way, to give them the benefit in Olam Haba, what I didn't give them in this world. And it will count as respect, and it will be very valuable, because now, when they are not alive anymore, every mitzvah you do for their merit gives them eternal reward. And so they will be very appreciative that you are helping them to rise from level to level. And as we mentioned last class, that greatest honor that you can give to your parents is to be a good human being, to the point that people should look at you and say, his parents did a good job. His parents raised him well. So you are a constant honor in the eyes of everyone for your parents. Okay, now we also have to speak about practical questions. For example, is it permissible to put your parents to a nursing home? Or is it disrespectful? So here, it depends on the situation. If a person is able to take care of his parents, he should do it. Whether they live in their house and you come visit them, hire a nurse for them. Of course, for most people, it's better to live in your own house, to be somewhat independent, to have guests coming to you or people who take care of you. Once you move to a nursing home, that's it. You don't have independence. It's as if you don't have what to live for. Usually, patients die quicker if they're in a nursing home, and their quality of life is not as good because they feel that I'm abandoned, even though it's the best nursing home. So ideally, if possible, they should stay in their home and you take care of them. This way they will feel the independence. If they cannot do it and you can afford space-wise and money-wise and emotionally-wise to take care of them, you should do it. However, if it will put burden on you that you cannot handle and it will affect your shalom bayit, your relationship with children, your stress, it will be very difficult, then you are allowed to put them in a nursing home, but you have to make sure that that nursing home is going to take good care of them. Shalom bayit, your own shalom bayit is more important, and if it will create shalom bayit, you don't have to take care of them in your home. But again, ideally, you should. Another question is, often one spouse or the other, when their parent becomes alone, let's say one parent dies and the second parent is alone, they often want to either move in with their parents or bring the parents to live with you. The question is, can one spouse force the other spouse to live with their parents? Let's say the husband says, it's my mother, I have to do kibud av v'em, I have to take care of her, I have to respect her, I'm her oldest son, I'm gonna bring her in, or we're gonna move to her house. Can he put this upon his wife? Right. Nobody can force another person to do anything against their will. Of course, especially here, as important as honoring parents is, shalom bayit is even more important. And if it will affect the shalom bayit, the husband cannot force his wife. With her parents-in-law is going to suffer. It's better that there should be a little bit of pain on the side of parents-in-law, saying, look, my daughter-in-law didn't let me live with them, they put me in nursing home, as opposed to very acute fighting when they actually move in. And one more question. At home, when we do Shabbat Kiddush and we say Hamotzi, the husband usually gives out wine and he gives out bread. Now, when you're alone, the husband tastes the wine first and then passes it to his wife and then to children. And when he cuts the bread, he eats first and then he passes to his wife and then children. What do you do when your parents are there? So this question is both ways. Let's say from the husband's point of view, should he give it to his wife first after he eats? Or he should give it to his father first and mother first and then wife?
I think
the wine is for the parents.
Wife, and then
wine is for the parents, and then the bread is for the wife.
I heard it's for
So we have three different opinions. Baruch Hashem, some say you should give it to your parents first, some say you should give it to your wife first, some say wine to your parents and bread to your wife, some say depends, the fourth opinion depends which house you're in. Yeah, which
I heard if you're in his house, if you're in his parents' house, then depending on whoever says it, it's
like if my husband sends in his parents' house, I heard that you have to give it to the grandfather or the father first.
So this is a difficult question, because if parents watch what's going on and they care about their honor, they want to be served first, it will upset them. But at the same time, halachically, you are supposed to give to your spouse first. Whether it's a wife serving the table and there's her parents there and her husband, she is supposed to give the husband first and then her parents, and the same with the husband. However, in order to avoid bad feelings, it's better to have a few cups in front of you and pour in a few cups and then send to everyone at the same time. For example, you can have a few little cups on one plate, a few little cups on the other plate, and you send it, and this way your parents will see that you didn't just send it specifically to your wife. Maybe you did give it to her first, but since you're giving the second plate with cups to the other side, and maybe to your father and one to your spouse, this way both are going to be happy. Or when the husband cuts the bread, the first piece he eats himself, and then he shouldn't cut one and pass, because then he's identifying your first and your second. Let him cut a few at the same time, and then if his father is on one side, his wife on the other, he should give it to them together. Or if they're far away, he should send a basket, or he should give a piece of bread to a child to bring it to his wife and then give it to his father, in a way that it shouldn't be obvious that you are choosing your spouse over your parent.
If your parents don't mind though?
If they don't mind, then it's fine. Yes, give it to your spouse first and then to your parents. The husband and wife are considered like one unit. So just like you eat first, you have to give your spouse first. And by the way, we mentioned it in one of the previous classes, both men and women have mitzvah of saying kiddush and hamotzi, and therefore a husband is allowed to give the honor of saying these blessings to his wife. But this should only be done if they are alone, when other people are not there, meaning guests, because it's not modest for a woman to say blessing for congregation, for others, but in the private of their own home, that is permissible. And to say kiddush and hamotzi. Sometimes the question is also who should make the kiddush and who should make hamotzi. You have your parents or your parents-in-law. Should your husband make kiddush and hamotzi like he does every Shabbat, or should you honor your parents or your parents-in-law or another guest? So here the law is that you are allowed to honor others with kiddush, a cup of wine. However, the blessing hamotzi should be done only by the owner of the house. And that is because he knows how much challah, how much bread they have, and he knows how to estimate how much to give to each person. For example, if he knows we have a lot and he's going to give large slices to everybody, as opposed to a guest, he doesn't know, and either he's going to give small pieces because maybe this is the only loaf that they have, so he's going to give small pieces and it's going to be disrespectful to Shabbat, or he's going to give large pieces because he's going to say, in my house we have a lot of bread, maybe they also have. He's going to give large pieces, and then the hosts are going to say, oh, we don't have anything to eat for tomorrow. So to avoid this, the husband or the wife, whoever the one that knows the host, should be making the blessing for bread and dividing it to guests.
What
Yeah.
about if you have a couple of
Yeah.
friends and like, let's say two different people saying it's hamotzi, let's say.
If you give each person his own set of two loaves of bread, that's fine. They can make it for themselves. Or if you give two sets of kiddush cups, each person can make their own kiddush. But if there's only one, it's okay to give the honor to someone else but bread you keep for yourself.
Yeah, just asking, it's actually about challah. A little off topic, but the crumbs of the challah, is it true that people say like it's a good segula to eat it for like parnasah or whatever? My husband says.
Some hold that it's good to eat crumbs from Shabbat challah. Some collect them and eat them. Some are not careful about it. If you eat just a little bit, you fulfill both.
And if you have like bread left over, let's say, like a lot of times I have like burger buns that kind of get like stale or whatever, not necessarily spoiled. Is it better to cover kiss and throw out, or better to like give it to the birds to throw?
If you can give it to birds, it's better. But if it's illegal or it's messy and inconvenient, you can just wrap it in a bag and then just gently put it in the garbage. Just with bread, you're not allowed to throw it on the floor.
So like when you give it to the birds, I usually crumble it and I'll...
That's okay because you're giving in front of them. But just to
If
throw
they're
it,
not there though, but I know they're gonna come and eat it.
but the point is, if you're doing it with disrespect, that's not good. So if you just throw it in the garbage, that's disrespectful. If you wrap it politely and just nicely put it in the garbage wrapped, that's okay. Yes.
You said a husband and wife are one unit. When you're saying Birkat Hamazon for Shabbat, can one husband or wife say just one and the other listen?
Yes. For most blessings, if two people are equally obligated in the blessing, one can say blessing, keep the other in mind, and the other will just say amen, and he fulfill just like we do Kiddush on Shabbat. One person says bracha, we say hamotzi. In the olden times, one person used to say Birkat Hamazon as well. Now we don't do it because it's very hard for people to concentrate for so long. Yes, but where it happens, it's permissible. Yes.
If both of the parents of the spouses are at the Shabbat table, is there like a halacha which one you give it to, like the kiddush?
I mean, no.
Just whoever?
Yes. It doesn't matter if it's your father and your father-in-law. You can give one time to this, one time to this. Okay. Any other questions?
Does it matter how many times you wrap the challah? If you do it or you have to wrap it once or
Even once is already respectful, yeah. 2 times is even better, but even once is okay. Some people complain that if you throw bread in the middle of the street, then the birds come and they mess up the street. And then you step on where they went to the bathroom, and then it sticks to your feet. You know, it's in trying to do a mitzvah, you are causing suffering to people, and so you have to think about it, not to hurt others. And so if you live in a community where either it's illegal or people are upset that you feed birds, then don't do it, or feed it on your balcony, on your roof, but not on the street. Okay. Shavua Tov.